From a sunny Coniston, welcome to the GCN Show.
Welcome to the GCN Show, brought to you by Wiggle.
This week we're talking 3 scientific breakthroughs that could revolutionise cycling.
Records have been falling in the ultra-endurance world, and Froome has been falling at the Giro.
Again. We've also got a new bike and a new bike bag to put it in Tech of the Week, and all of our usuals as well.
This week, in the world of cycling, we learnt that beards are no barrier to speed. Sean Conway, sporting some truly enormous facial hair, has just broken the record for riding across Europe.
I was feeling pretty low after 1,000 miles, so I managed to find a mascot in the form of a bit of roadkill. His name's Pedro. He helped me get through the first 1,000 miles and I took him all the way across to the edge of Europe.
More from Sean a little bit later on.
Yeah, we also learned this week that if your team want to charter a helicopter to help to evacuate you from summit finishes quicker, then that is all well and good, but you actually need to catch it. Or, perhaps more to the point, they need to wait for you. Chris Froome unfortunately missed the Skycopter, and that just added to his list. Quite extensive list of Italian woes.
Marginal gains gone wrong. He did fare slightly better though than Igor Anton, who couldn't find his team bus at the end of the Mount Etna stage and was rescued by Team AG2R.
Yeah, his team Dimension Data do dispute this, but the team director sportif at the Giro WhatsApp group begs to differ. Anyway, this week we are not talking marginal gains, and we're not talking about GPS either, Igor. We're actually talking about scientific breakthroughs that could revolutionise our sport, because we have got 3 of them for you.
We have. First up, we got a message through from the guys at Exert. We've mentioned them here on the GCN show before, and you might remember they have created some quite mind-blowing training analysis software which analyses all of your power data. And their founder, Armando, was also back on GCN in 2014 because he developed the first ever automatic gears for bikes.
I wonder why this saddle's still looking quite so sad now. Well, he's perked up a bit. Anyway, they say that they've managed to get Exert software to a place where it can now act as your virtual coach, and they've called it the Exert Adaptive Planner.
Apparently, I'm afraid I'm going to have to read this because I couldn't remember it all. The adaptive planner will choose the ideal workout for the selected day. The tool uses sophisticated algorithms to analyse a broad set of an athlete's data, including how much training they've been doing, training load, how tired or fresh they are, form, proximity to goal date, training phase, and other points proprietary to Exert.
Yeah, and then the really cool bit, to me at least anyway, is the fact that it can also factor in any day's training you might have missed, and indeed plan around real life, because we appreciate that even after the last couple of weeks worth of GCN shows, some of you still have them. Lives, we mean. Anyway.
Yeah, not many.
No, exactly. And then it can also plan the ultimate training session for your physiology.
Wow. It does beg, though, a quite fundamental question, that question being, is coaching really all science? Well, I guess time will tell.
Yeah, well, that is a pretty fundamental question. We should maybe come back to that one. Right, next up though, the UCI weight limit for bikes of 6.8 kilos has been looking quite antiquated for some time, but recent advances in material science could make it completely and utterly meaningless, because we're not talking about graphene here. Oh no, that was so last year. We're talking about maths.
Yes, a bike frame made entirely out of maths.
Yeah.
Or maths and a little bit of graphene.
Yeah, graphene again.
Because basically graphene is used as an additive to other things such as carbon fibre or rubber or, as we learnt last week, even concrete, although of limited use to bike frames, I will admit.
Yeah. Researchers at MIT have successfully managed to turn 2-dimensional graphene into a 3D form through a combination of heat and pressure. And with that, they've finally managed to realise some of the strength and weight properties that people have long been predicting about graphene, but have never actually seen in physical form before. But the really cool bit is when they actually analysed the structures that the graphene had made, they saw that it wasn't the material that gave these amazing properties, it was actually the geometry of the structure itself, meaning that you could kind of replicate it with any material.
Do you know what those structures are called?
No?
Gyroids, which supposedly look quite similar to Nerf balls.
Right.
However, those Nerf-like structures are also apparently incredibly tricky to manufacture.
Yeah, well, the researchers said actually nigh on impossible. But I wonder if they could just talk to Nerf about it.
Well, yeah, they seem to know what they're doing.
They've got a lot of
Been doing
experience.
it for years.
Yeah, anyway, beside the point, what we've got is a material that is 10 times stronger than steel at just 5% of the density, and it's almost within reach. Imagine what it would do to bikes. Would you go for a super light bike or an indestructible bike?
Indestructible, I reckon.
I'd go for indestructible as well, yeah. I wouldn't be that fussed about a super light one.
No. Indestructible, definitely.
Yeah. I can't bend it back. The pedal's touching the floor.
We'll turn it upside down, it'll be alright.
Anyway, finally, it's battery. Slightly controversial, perhaps. But whatever you think about batteries, etc., you'd be hard pushed to argue that they haven't been revolutionising bikes and cycling through their steady evolution over the last few years. Smaller, lighter and more powerful batteries have seen the steady rise of things such as better lights, batteries in electronic group sets, etc., power meters and, yes, e-bikes.
Oh, now though, with, wait for it, Dan, graphene, things could about to be taken up a notch.
I thought it was last year.
Well, it was last year, and then Samsung came and found another use for it. Or rather, their Advanced Institute of Materials, actually. Basically, they have successfully synthesized graphene balls, which, when added to batteries, boost the capacity by 45% and make them charge 5 times faster.
More powerful onboard computers, longer lasting group set batteries, more powerful, brighter lights, onboard cameras.
Yeah, all perhaps in their own small way would gradually revolutionise cycling, as we've already seen. But I think the big one, depending on your own personal view of it, is going to be e-bikes. I mean, would Elander even have noticed that Dan was riding an e-bike?
Well, he didn't appear to as he was dropping me on a climb.
That's a good point, actually. Maybe Elander wouldn't have dropped Dan if... Actually, who are we kidding? It might revolutionise cycling, but it's not that good.
Christ almighty! That is not fair.
Fair point, I guess. Anyway, we'd like to know what you think, as ever. Do you think that science could eventually revolutionise cycling? Let us know in the comment section down below. From my perspective, back in the days when I was a full-time professional cyclist, I would have loved
such teams as
I would have loved to use the Exert software. I think I've mentioned it here on the GCN show in the past. But if I'd have known 100% for sure that a training program was going to get the best out of my own body, I'd have followed it, no questions asked, no matter how hard it was. But you always question your own training program, don't you? Well, certainly I did. I always questioned training programs that were written for me by other coaches.
Yeah, imagine an entire peloton of cyclists competing, all having been trained by the same algorithm. That's bonkers.
Well, it could be quite boring, couldn't we? Bunch sprints on every single mass start stage.
Because the freaks of nature would still rise to the top, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the creeps will rise. You know, for my take, actually, I'm less enthusiastic about the lighter bikes thing, because I've got a sneaking suspicion that lighter bikes aren't actually necessarily that much faster, up to a point anyway. And they're certainly, and we know this for a fact, not more fun. You only have to ride like a belting carbon frame next to a belter of a steel frame. So, you know, they both have their advantages and their plus points.
Well, yeah, the cool thing about cycling from that point of view is that science is unlikely to revolutionise it, for the reason being that, well, you can have a steel bike that's very simple and it's just as much fun often to ride as a tech-laden, top-of-the-range, cutting-edge bike.
Yeah, that is true, actually. Although one thing you definitely can say about these three things is that batteries have the power to revolutionise the world, and e-bikes are actually probably a big part of that.
Batteries have the power. Pun intended?
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, anyway, get involved in the comment section down below. What do you think? Are these three things going to revolutionise cycling?
You didn't intend that.
I did. I so did, mate. I did. Yeah.
It's now time for cycling shorts.
We're going to start cycling shorts with some presumably fairly crusty ones, actually, because Sean Conway has just set a new world record for cycling across Europe, just shy of 4,000 miles or 6,405 kilometres in a time of 24 days, 18 hours and 39 minutes, besting the previous record by 9 hours. That sounds like squeaky bum time, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. He spent an average of 16 hours a day in the saddle, in that chamois as well. Starting the attempt out in Portugal, he then crossed Spain, France, Switzerland, which must have been pretty hilly, mustn't it? Then went on to Germany, Czech Republic, Poland, Ukraine, and then finished in Russia in Ufa.
Yeah. You know, actually, putting it in the context of a Grand Tour, which is 1 in 21 days, generally, if your winning margin was 9 hours, people would probably be questioning the validity of it. So maybe that is actually just a healthy lead.
So he smashed the record.
He smashed the record, yeah. Anyway, Sean, despite what we presume is his fairly deep state of fatigue, he has actually sent us a quick message. So thanks for that, Sean.
The first 1,000 miles was really, really tough. I was massively underprepared. The winter snowy months made it really difficult to do any proper outdoor training. And also I got a puppy in December. So cycling training took a backseat for puppy training. And the worst part is my puppy now still barks at bicycles, which is kind of really annoying. The middle section of my ride, up to 2,000, 3,000 miles, I started to find my groove. Things were getting a bit easier. I was finding food a lot better. Germany, France, Switzerland, really easy countries to cycle in. I then got into the Czech Republic, which was extremely, extremely hilly. I wasn't quite prepared for the hills of the Czech Republic. And then over into Poland, where the roads gradually got worse, but I was still keeping just ahead of the world record. It was only until I got to the Ukraine that I really started to up my mileage, trying to hit a few 200-mile days, and I managed to build up a lead up to 3,000 miles of 24 hours ahead of the world record. So I was really happy with that. Unfortunately, Russia really threw everything at me. I had 15 to 25 mile an hour headwinds for the entire 1,000 miles across Russia, and the roads were just terrible for road cycling. No hard shoulders, big trucks bombing past, having to jump off onto the side of the road. So things were really tough in Russia, and I lost most of my lead due to the headwinds. So from a 24-hour lead, I eventually only landed up beating the record by just under 9 hours in the end. So it was cutting it fine, but thankfully I built up those big miles in the early days and was able to just tip ahead. I camped rough most of the way. I slept mainly in drain pipes under the road, and in 25 days and 4,000 miles I only had 5 showers. So my clothes were pretty stinky towards the end, but I really needed to make the most of my time on the road, and trying to faff around checking into hotels really would take a lot of time out of my day that I couldn't afford to lose. Just want to thank everyone at GCN for supporting me throughout the ride. I couldn't have done it without you guys, and I hope to see you soon. And make sure you subscribe to GCN. See you later.
Thank you, Sean. Right, sticking with the ultra endurance world for a few more moments, there is another record that has been broken, this time by Dean Stott. It is the record for riding the length of the Americas, 14,000 miles in total. He's managed to take 17 days off the previous record, covering that distance in a time of exactly 99 days and a half.
Yeah. Now he was with a support crew actually. Sean was self-supported, hence why he was sleeping in pipes. Anyway. The interesting thing about Dean's attempt is that he actually sped up in the second half because he received an invitation to the forthcoming royal wedding.
Oh, he did as well, didn't he?
Yeah, which takes place this week. Takes place this weekend, which I hadn't realised you obviously knew all about.
I didn't know until I got the invite through, yeah. Anyway, I wonder if that kind of incentive might work for Chris Froome at the Giro, perhaps, because he needs to speed up, doesn't he, in the second half of that race?
He does,
wants
doesn't
to
he?
win.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a crap idea, mate.
Yeah, it probably is. Actually, speaking of crap ideas, that led me nicely on to the next topic, because Israel, land of Giro d'Italia starts and Eurovision wins, amongst other things. Well, they have just opened a new bicycle tunnel, which is in a sewage pipe. Kind of.
Yeah, that's right. So this new bike path in Jerusalem is indeed underground in a tunnel that houses a giant sewage pipe. And it also has a single lane access road that was built to maintain said sewage pipe, but has now been turned into a 2-lane bike path. It forms part of the 42-kilometre long Jerusalem circular bike path, and it opened a couple of weeks back with, of all things, the Gran Fondo New York event, which took place in Jerusalem. Of course.
Stinks if you ask me. Moving on to this, which caught my eye from a few days ago on Twitter. It's posted by Sven Thiel, although I don't think he was the original source. Regardless, it shows the uptake of technology, modern technology, everything from Android to Facebook to Spotify to iTunes, etc., and how quickly they have been adopted by the general public. You want to know what came out on top?
Graphene, 100%.
No, blimey, stop talking about graphene. It was actually bikes.
Bikes, that makes more sense.
Bike sharing in China, to be specific.
Well, to be fair, that is a good thing. We kind of got an inkling of that, didn't we? The fact that there have been so many discarded public hire bikes in China. But you do have to say that once they've got over those teething problems, actually getting more people on bikes and out of cars has got to be a good thing, hasn't it?
Definitely. A few problems to be ironed out, but once we get to that point where more journeys are being made on bikes, like you said, it's a good thing.
Absolutely. Right, we're going to finish Cycling Shorts this week with a quick update from Catherine, who, as you well know, is in her final preparation phase for the Dirty Kanza epic gravel event that's, well, it's less than a month away now, isn't
close.
it? Crikey. Anyway, here is Catherine.
Just reporting in for one of my training rides. I'm up on the top of the Mendips in Somerset in the UK. Got about 70 miles on the menu today. Mostly off-road, some very light gravel, like the Strawberry Line, some a bit more like mountain biking. So I'm quite glad I've got some mega 2-inch tyres on today, but I don't think they'll be lasting on there for Kanza. I've had some good training rides in the last few weeks, some longer road miles as well as some more off-road. And a couple of weeks to go now, so I'm just starting to taper, which involves going down to about 100k rides. But yeah, feeling good. Fingers crossed.
It's time now for GCN's Wiggle of Fortune. One lucky contestant will have the opportunity to win 4 different Wiggle vouchers. The top prize being £150 Wiggle vouchers, bottom prize £25. Not quite the bottom prize, in fact, because there's a top prize for me, which is a beer, as you can see just here. I haven't won it yet, but every week I hope the contestant doesn't win, and I do.
Are you ready? This week's contestant is...
Aaron Solomon of the good old US of A.
Nice.
In
Fingers
3,
crossed, Alan.
in 2, in 1, and go. Where's the beer? There it
Oh,
is.
it's going fast this week.
It is, yeah. Sped up a lot. I think the price for going round. That's
Oh, this doesn't look good for you, mate. This doesn't look good for you.
Straight past. Lost interest already.
Ah,
Price
no.
4. What's he going to get? Price 3. It's going to be price 3, is it? Oh, not quite on to prize 2. Well done, Aaron. We'll be in touch with your Wiggle voucher very soon indeed. Let us know what you spend it on. Douchebag, the
Idiot.
Douchebag, the company, have just released
Sorry.
a brand new bike bag. Now, they're calling it the Savage.
Yes.
It's a soft case, however, inside you're going to find an inner cage design, which they've drawn inspiration, basically, from the roll cages that you find inside racing cars. And what that means is maximum protection for your pride and joy inside.
Yeah, apparently most mountain bikes and road bikes will fit in it, and there is an adapter that will allow you to fit road bike handlebars safely inside. Now, one of the cool bits for me is that it can actually be stored at just a third of its original size, which is an important consideration when you're buying a bike bag.
Well, it is, because no matter how much you ride bikes, let's face it, the majority of the time you're storing a bike boxer bag, aren't you?
Yeah, indeed.
Now, any of you that have watched the recent GCN Tech video with me in Abu Dhabi, where I follow the mechanics around as they pack up, I'm sure that's most of you, you will know that Team Sky used douchebags. In fact, they had loads of them over there.
Anyway, moving swiftly on, this next bit of tech, you will probably know that I've got something of a soft spot for it. The 3T Strada was a pretty revolutionary bike, certainly in road bike terms. It is aero optimized, fine, but it can only use one-by drivetrains. Oh yeah, and it can only use disc brakes, meaning that it was actually as controversial as Lance Armstrong. And I'm actually not exaggerating when I say that.
Yeah, so fingers on the keyboard, get ready to start typing and leaving your comments below. But they've got a younger brother, haven't they? It's called the 3T Strada Pro, which uses a slightly cheaper and heavier carbon layup, 130 grams heavier to be precise. But what it means is that they can now sell a complete bike for just under $5,000. The Giro d'Italia is nearing the halfway point now, and as things stand, Mitchelton Scott sit in a quite commanding position. Simon Yates has been rewarded for some incredibly consistent riding and a stage win with the leader's jersey overall, whilst Esteban Chavez probably couldn't believe his luck as he was allowed to slip into a 28-man breakaway, which went up the road on the stage to Etna. One stage apiece, and the 1-2 in the overall GC.
Yeah, Chris Froome, meanwhile, suffered another fall, this time on a climb, and then he fell the next day as well, except this time just down the overall classification. On the stage to Gran Sasso d'Italia, he conceded a minute to stage winner Simon Yates, and with it, all hope of winning the Giro d'Italia.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to write him off completely, but he doesn't look like he's going very fast.
No, I don't think he's coming back from that.
No.
I'm sure that will be repeated if he does, many times for years to come.
Yeah, do you want to say that you don't think he's going to make the podium, just for the record?
I don't think Chris Froome is going to... No, I'm not going to do that.
No.
I'm going to learn from your mistake from
Yeah.
2014, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Put it in now.
Vincenzo Nibali is not going to make podium.
Anyway, moving on to the 4 days of Dunkirk, and the Frenchman Nacer Bouhanni took a much needed victory there on one of the sprint stages because once again he's landed himself in some hot water. Apparently, according to L'Equipe, the French sports newspaper, he was involved in a violent altercation after the Eschborn-Frankfurt race recently with his sports director, Roberto Damiani.
He is an angry man, isn't he, Bouhanni? I can't imagine there's many teams that would put up with him anymore, given that he doesn't win many bike races and he might beat you up. But anyway, good news for the team though. Cofidis have said they're renewing their sponsorship right through to the end of 2022. Now, bearing in mind that they actually joined this pro cycling sport in 1997 and have weathered some storms since then. That's quite a partnership, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
I just started driving in 97. Even I was young back then. Sticking with the 4 days of Dunkirk for a little bit longer, it's also great to see the return to winning form of Andre Greipel after he broke his collarbone at Milan San Remo. In fact, he took his 150th and 151st career victories.
Yeah, one of them was a solo one as well. The Tour California also started on Sunday. Things to note, they have a new leaders jersey, courtesy of our mates at Assos. It looks pretty cool. But perhaps the big story before the race had started was that they've decided to join the ranks of some of the other big races and get rid of podium girls.
Or hostesses, as they called them.
Sorry, hostesses.
Didn't go down too well with everybody, did it? I mean, this was the reaction that Esteban Chavez gave down in Italy. We joke, of course, but in all seriousness, there were major protests and even placards spotted at the roadside by Sophie Smith, the cycling journalist.
That's not much for a placard, that one, is it, really?
It's a bit of pink paper with some Sharpie.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing that's, you know, like whether it's just his raw emotion that got him drawing on a pink piece of paper or whether it's good that no one's actually gone to the lengths of making something proper. But anyway, there we go. Certainly didn't deter Fernando Gaviria. He took out stage 1, despite having to use his elbows a little bit, actually, to fend off a young rider from the Action Hagens Berman's team, who seemed to want to muscle in on his lead-out train.
Yeah. I also noticed actually that the organisers of the Tour of California, on their dossard, the race numbers that the riders pin on, they've given a small space allocation to the riders to write who they're riding for. And this picture from Roger Hammond, the sports director at Dimension Data, showed that Mark Cavendish decided to ride for the late Sharon Lords, which I thought was a classy gesture.
Yeah, that is cool. Right, now some slightly bad news, but perhaps something you might be able to help with. One of the leading women's teams, High Tech Products, are having to resort to crowdfunding to try and plug a shortfall in their budget for the remainder of the season. They've been around for a long time, very successful team they are too. In fact, they recently won the Tour of Chongming Island with Charlotte Becker, but they are, as you say, resorting to crowdfunding.
Yeah, they've been riding well recently. Now that shortfall in budget is apparently down to the fact that one of the major sponsors has pulled out. Like I said, they've been around for a long time, almost 10 years, so it is a worry for all of the staff and all of the riders.
Yeah, if you would like to help out, then we've got a link to their crowdfunding page in the description beneath this video.
We are going to give a quick plug to our own shop now because we've got a big sale going on over at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. You will find on sale everything from hoodies to t-shirts to jackets to thermal cups to
pizza
art
cutters.
prints, pizza cutters, loads and loads of different stuff, so make sure you go and check that out.
Yep, and also, bearing in mind this is the month of May, there is quite a pink theme going on. Dan obviously manfully sporting our limited edition pink t-shirts, but don't forget as well, there's a few other bits and bobs on there like our pink logos on t-shirts, sweatshirts and hoodies as well in white and black. Make sure you check it out.
Hack / bodge of the week now, starting with this from Graham Atkinson, which we don't understand.
No, Graham has successfully hacked or bodged, we don't know yet, a broken gear cable. So he's managed to secure the chain in his third easiest gear. Excellent work, but the method of fixing, we don't know what it is. He said it's an electrical cable connector. Yeah, anyway, it looks good, Graham, to be fair, but I don't think it's as good as our hack. Our roadside.
Well, no, we did do that roadside hack many years ago, didn't we?
Yeah, indeed. So if you want to know what that is, how to fix a broken rear derailleur cable out on the road or the trail, check it out because it is a good one. And I'm sorry, Graham, but yours has not been it.
Well, we don't know, just because we don't understand it.
Good point.
Eugene Lawrence on Facebook has sent this picture, which I initially thought was a bodged recumbent tandem, but then Si pointed out to me that that's in fact 2 bikes there.
Still bodged.
So 2 bodges instead of 1.
Well, I mean, it's a proper recumbent, isn't it? They've just made their own seats.
Yeah, the seats actually don't look uncomfortable, do they?
I don't know what a normal recumbent seat looks like, if I'm perfectly honest, Dan. So maybe that is a hack. Jury's out on that one. It's not on this. This is genius. Now, as you well know, I absolutely love chain keepers. But this one...
We haven't had one for a while, have we?
No, we haven't. This actually looks like my kind of chain keeper. He's using a through axle. That's a Mad Dog Eco, by the way. Using a through axle with a soft drinks bottle, just thrown casually over the top. That's amazing. See, you don't need a chain keeper.
I've seen better. I must admit, I've seen better. Moving on to this one.
You've not seen cheaper, Dan.
No,
and I know you love a bargain.
Yes,
so, yeah.
I do. There's a sale on actually at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com.
Funnily enough, there is. Anyway, that's a hack. That one,
Eddie Brunner over on the Facebook page wanted a bike rack for his super bike.
Cool.
I presume that's the motorbike he's talking about rather than the Colnago.
Well,
it could be either, couldn't it?
That's quite a nice
So
Colnago.
he grabbed his welder and some scrap steel and built one. Boom! Bike rack.
That is very cool. Nice hack there. Imagine if the Colnago matched his motorbike.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's both very nice colours, but
Still a
they've
hack.
got to match, surely.
Still a hack, isn't it?
Well, yeah, they should. Right, now this one, slightly peculiar. This was sent in by EJ Williams 7 over on Instagram. Which position is more aero? Well, clearly the top one, isn't it? Whether it's sustainable or not, I don't know.
No.
But also, if it was me, I wouldn't necessarily want my face there when cycling.
Yes, very good point, Si. Not really a hack or a bodge, I don't know why we've got that in there, but just some new positions to sit on your tandem. Probably a future GCN video at some point. Next up, we've got this from Benny and Jets. How to avoid an £85 bell ticket but keep your bars clean. We've been trying to, it almost says Oz, that bell. We were trying to decipher whether it was in Australia where it's law to have a bike bell, but I don't think it is. I'm sure you can let us know.
It is in this country, but we don't often get...
Oh, it's law over here, is it?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Well,
They've got to be sold with a... Bikes have got to be sold with a belt. We should probably do some more research on this.
We've shown ourselves to be clueless from start to finish.
And potentially lawbreakers in every country we go
Yes.
to. But anyway, stick your bell between your legs. That's the moral of that photo.
Right. I love this next one. Moving swiftly on from Unserious Cycling. Right, this is genius, Si. So his bar tape, or hers, has got mucky.
Yeah, as it does.
Instead of trying to clean it or indeed throw it away and get some new stuff, he's just unwraps it and wraps it the opposite way around, thus leaving the majority of it looking quite clean.
Genius.
And the dirty stuff kind of wrapped underneath.
That is a
It's a bit like wearing your underpants for a second day inside out, isn't it?
And then back to front. And then inside out and back to front again. 4 days from the same pair of pants. Yeah, I like that very much. This one here is sent in by Shot Zenjin. Real pan ears. Yes, I like that. I mean, I like the pun. I don't really see the point of having a pan strapped to your bike. But anyway, so you could actually transfer like lunch for 20 people in that thing.
Right in the front, big curry in the back. Happy days. Anyway,
yeah, I like that.
If you would like to send us in your hacks or bodges, the hashtag is GCN Hack, or as we've mentioned, you can send them into a message to us on Facebook.
Right, it's time now for Caption competition. Your opportunity to get your hands on a GCN water bottle for free. All you got to do is caption a photo that we give you. The funniest caption each week is the winner. This was what you had last week to get your teeth sunk into. Dan, who was the winner?
Normal N. Caption, telepathic thoughts. A is really good. Which we thought was brilliant, didn't we?
We did. Simple, but very, very good. Right, the photo that you've got this week, you have to caption it. Dan?
Yeah, you
get
ready?
Started? Yeah.
I've been thinking long and hard about this.
Go on, mate.
Pink, you. That went better in rehearsals, that. I bet it was really funny in rehearsals. Let us know your captions.
That is really funny.
I'm going to try it again. Pink, you. There we go. Leave your best captions in the comment section down below. And Nirmal, don't forget to get in touch on Facebook with your address so that we can get this out to
people might need to see that written down, Dan. But it's very funny.
Comment of the week time now, and we're very tempted to read out a whole host more confessions from last week's show. We have got one a little bit later, but first up, underneath what do riders eat for breakfast at the Giro d'Italia, Dom James put, I've never seen anyone so excited about Weetabix, which apparently is the breakfast of champions, isn't it? That's what Simon Yates has every morning.
That's right.
Weetabix, every day.
Awesome.
I don't know who was more excited, Simon Yates talking about his breakfast or Emma's response to Simon Yates' breakfast, but both were quite enthusiastic.
She couldn't believe anyone would have a banana on top of an omelette, could she?
Plain 2-egg omelette with mashed banana, honey on top of it.
In the omelette?
On top of it.
On top of the omelette, you had banana.
Yeah. I only do sweet breakfasts.
Right, you ready for the confession?
Yeah.
It comes from Terence McMahon, and we love this one. I bought rollers for my home office and then accidentally answered a Skype call with the video on. I fell off the rollers and broke my desk and my door, my work laptop, and bent a wheel. I got new wheels, a folding table, and the spare laptop from the intern at the office. 2 years on, I've still got the table and laptop. I just bought nicer wheels.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
I love it.
Really good.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got loads more content coming up for you over the next 7 days, starting on Wednesday, where Josh Hibbert, I think, is talking us through what you need to take bike packing.
Indeed.
I'm sure the list is pretty extensive. Thursday...
Well, less extensive than you might think, Dan. There's not much to take.
Oh, is there not?
No. Well, you're not allowed to take much, basically.
I shall make sure I watch. There's a cheeky little bonus for you, actually, on that day, because Emma has been taking a tour of the Bora Hansgrohe kitchen, so 2 videos in 1 day for
That's where the kitchen sink that you're not allowed to take bike packing's ended up.
Yeah. Good joke, Si.
Thanks, mate.
On Thursday, Matt actually is taking you through the best ever editions of the Giro d'Italia. And then on Friday, it's Ask GCN Anything, but it's another special on bike packing. Get your questions in for Josh Hibbert on bike packing because he's coming in to do that in a couple of days' time.
He is indeed. And also, over on the tech channel, there'll be a bike packing special as well with Josh, but more tech-focused questions. Right, Saturday, Emma's commuter training series continues. Definitely worth catching up if you've not seen that one yet. And then on Sunday, we've got a nutrition special from one of the leading nutritionists out there, Asker Judenkrupp. Emma has been putting your questions to him.
Judenkrupp, isn't it?
I don't know, maybe he can fill us in on Sunday.
He'll let us know, I'm sure. Monday back with the Racing News Show. Tuesday back in the set here for the GCN Show. A couple of reminders. If you're in Europe, you can check out Eurosport's app and find yours truly and Si and other, more experts alongside us. So make sure you join us on the app for daily coverage of the Giro d'Italia. Speaking of which, John Cannings is there for the second rest day, so stay tuned to GCN Tech and possibly GCN as well for more coverage of that race from him.
It's busy at the moment, isn't it, mate?
Really
isn't
busy,
it brilliant? Yeah. We are getting towards the end of the GCN show now, but before we leave, we still, of course, have time for Extreme Corner. This week it's Josh Lewis from 50 to 1. I believe, Dan, this is called shredding.
Is it a raw edit?
It is a raw edit, that's right. Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was fast riding.
That guy can ride, yeah.
He can, yeah.
Also, I strangely find the sound of skids really compelling.
Well, yeah. Well, they can be quite frightening in case you follow through, can't they? Sound
Yeah.
skids. Anyway.
Yeah, dear. Let's move swiftly on, shall we?
We shall, yes.
That's the end of the show. You probably
is.
already left us, actually, after that bit.
I'm sure they have. A long time ago when we made some other poor jokes about ooze. Make sure you join us again this time next week when we'll be back for the GCN show. Keep it together, Si, because I'm trying to think of a video that we can throw to. And
Morocco bike
conveniently, you changed it.
There we go.
Let's throw to 2 for the first time in ages. Si went bike packing in Morocco. Video he's incredibly proud about. Keeps banging on about it. That is down here. Down here, you can find out what the rest of the pros at the Giro d'Italia have for their breakfast. Oh, we've got a sale on at the shop. Click on the link.